Interestingly, at the same time, the science around having a purpose that transcends yourself. So not one that earns the money that you need to just live your life, not even one that just makes you happy and satisfied in yourself, but one that is more altruistic, is actually very expanding for our consciousness. And I think that's probably what we're really getting at, a conversation that I don't have with many people, but I feel like I could have with you, which is that we need to sort of be able to access altered states of consciousness to really understand what our soul's purpose is in this life. And breath work is a great way of doing that too. Obviously, there's a popular sort of trend at the moment for plant medicine. And you know, I'm watching the research on that at Johns Hopkins really carefully, and there's a lot of positive stuff around it. But what I'd really like to say to people is it's nothing that you can't achieve through time in nature, breath work, meditation, nourishing your body with really healthy food, sleeping really well, and crucially, having that really like positive, meaningful community around you.
What's your understanding so far about the soul's purpose of what you've been able to discover and uncover on this journey?
I did do some research into near-death experiences and terminal lucidity and dark retreats. The original scientific interest in that was to understand the nature of consciousness more in terms of how separate it can be from the body. So if we look at the research on near-death experiences, then we see that people who had the physical signs that as a medical doctor, I would say they were dead. So whether it was the amount of time that your heart had stopped beating or your brainwaves had gone flat, have then somehow, which we can't explain, been able to become conscious in that body again and describe an experience that they've had whilst seemingly not in their body. What's really interesting about that research is you don't have to have had that experience yourself, because people will say, well, you know, okay, that's great for those people if it made them understand their soul's purpose, but we can't all have that. Although you actually can if you go and do a dark retreat, which is why I then looked into those. And, you know, in the ancient cultures like the Greeks and Egyptians, they used to bury people for days to mimic death. And then when they uncovered them, they were the people that became like the mystics and the seers of those communities. So again, just things that we've forgotten. But if you know, there's an amazing book called After by Dr. Bruce Grayson, or if you just like look into the research around near-death experiences, most common themes that people say are, I feel more compassionate, I feel more connected, I feel more grateful, I want to do things to help people,